Hello, everyone. Welcome to News Now, the Belmont Journal's daily update on what's going on in the community of Belmont. I'm your host, Roger Colton. I have with me today Franklin Tucker, who is the editor and publisher of the Belmontonian, Belmont's online source for hyperlocal news. Franklin, there is ever developing information on COVID-19 in Belmont. Can you bring us up to date on what we know?
Let me just first say that Wesley Chin, who is the director of the health department in Belmont, was speaking to the select board and said that it will be a tough winter in Belmont, simply because of COVID, and also because there is a word that there is the very nasty variant that is now in Massachusetts that you probably heard about. But what's been really interesting is that the public health department has come out with have reviewed all the deaths in Belmont this year as part of their annual thing. They do that every year, and what they found is that there was 14 extra people who died via COVID-19. So we thought from May to now we had 60 people, and it stayed pretty even. It stayed even for those 8 months, 9 months. But in fact, going back and looking at the town clerk's office and their death records, they've decided that to add 13 Belmont deaths to COVID-19 in 2020. That's really something that's very sobering to think about, because what they found is that most of them were from older people. The average age was about 85 years old that those people died. But 22 of the deaths in Belmont occurred outside of long-term care facilities. And 10 people in Belmont have died since Thanksgiving. Now that's a real awakening. It's not like we missed 1 month, 2, and next month. It's been basically less than 2 months over since the beginning of the holiday seasons, and we've seen that number of people dying. And because there is such a large increase in the number of people getting COVID-19, we could see that increase even more.
And that increase after Thanksgiving was likely due to what everybody warned about: people getting together for the holidays.
You can just see that people came in from out of state, or people traveled, and there were older individuals, and more susceptible to get if they get it, they're going to be more susceptible to a very bad response to it. So it was quite, like I said, it's quite sobering that we had this information coming out.
One of the ongoing conversations in Belmont about COVID-19 is the impact on the schools, whether there will be remote learning, a return to remote learning, or whether there will be in-person learning. Do you have insights into that?
That's right. The number of incidents that are occurring in Belmont schools, whether it is students or it is faculty or staff, it has been very steady, and it's had real spikes in the last month and a half. This comes just as 2 individuals are running for the school committee, and basically what they're doing is they're saying they're the candidates who are saying, let's bring more parents involvement because we have a lot of smart people. Let them help the school committee move forward. What's happening is that you have the school committee currently, the current school committee, who've decided that they're going to base everything on the schools on safety. They're not going to look to bring more kids in. They're going to have a safety, a vision of safety. This had a lot to do with the teachers union, which is also very health oriented and looking for making sure the schools are as safe as possible, because a number of the people who received COVID inside the schools have been teachers. Now, not a lot of them have been in school. Many of them have been in a remote. They caught the virus remotely, while they're doing outside the building. But we've been hearing a lot of this variant that was showed up in England and South Africa and is now in the United States. It really does attack children. It does. It's because it's more. If you get it, it's just more. You can get it much easier than even the COVID right now. So it's caused places such as England to suspend schools for up to 2 months. So now you have this situation where you have people who are running for school committee who stated that, oh, it's safe enough. We're smart enough to make sure that people aren't going to get sick. Well, people are getting sick, and now we have this variant coming about. How does that change the school committee race?
And let's look forward to just the next couple of months. People are hearing about vaccinations being available. Tell us, though, what is the health department and what is the state school, what are the state school folks telling us about schools for this winter?
Well, just today, the state has stated that they are going to start testing, once a week testing for schools in Massachusetts. That's a big thing. People want to know if your school has a spike in the number of cases. So that's really going to be something that's going to be very interesting, and it's going to be part of our weekly view of what COVID-19, especially in the schools, are like. In terms of the next couple of months, the vaccine is out there, but it's how do you get it to the people? In terms of Belmont is prepared, as Leslie Chen had stated a couple of months ago. Belmont has been told by the state, be prepared to give shots. But right now, they're not one of those priority sites. Watertown and Arlington right now are. Their health departments are leading the effort to make sure that public safety people are being getting the vaccine. And right now there's a big push to allow places that everybody goes to, grocery stores and pharmacies, to be really one of the center places for people to go to. Go to your CVS, you can pick up your shampoo and aspirin, and along the way get a vaccine. So it would be a little bit. They're also prepared to do that. They would if you're a member or if you sign up for anything from those supermarket or pharmacy, you're starting to see that in your email saying, "Hey, be part of our email. We'll have the vaccines, quick in the next couple of months, and we can start up getting you ready to schedule your shot." So you're seeing that public-private effort.
That's great. Sobering news, but a ray of hope. It sounds like.
Yes.
So Franklin, as we talk about the school committee and the school committee race, we not only have two new candidates, but one of the current members of the school committee has announced she's running for re-election. Can you tell us?
That's right. The teacher on the school committee, she's a teacher in Winchester, Tara Donner, has announced that, has told the Belmontonian that she will be running for re-election. She feels that there's a lot of things that she wants still to do, not just in terms of building the high school and COVID-19, but a lot of what she's been advocating, and that is, whether it is sped learning and things like that. She's been a real advocate for the teacher side of things, as you would expect. She's she will be running, and right now it's Jamal Shahi, who is already submitted his nomination papers, and Megan Moriarty, who was I believe and she was one of the finalists for the position of that Evelyn Gomez, who is on the board right now. She was one of the finalists in when that position opened. So we will have a race, a pretty competitive race, I would believe. I know that a number of there's a number of groups in Belmont that have been dissatisfied with the current members of the board, and they will be working with together in terms of trying to put two people on the board this time around.
And Franklin, as we look forward to this spring's election, there will be an override on the ballot, and there is increasing information that's being made available.
That's right. It's a lot more information coming from the school committee and from the town in terms of what they'll be looking for in terms of or what will happen if an override does pass, what they'll be spending the money on. There was a community meeting on Thursday in which a lot of that was brought forward. But even the groups that were there, the warrant committee, the select board, the school committee, and also the financial task force, the second one, the second one of those, they all said that it's still up in the air exactly how much will be asked for in terms of an override, how many years that will be. They still need to have a little bit more information. They want to find out. They want to have more information from residents in terms of what could pass. Basically, that's something that's been very important in terms of knowing that Belmont will also be needing to borrow another $100 million for the high school. So it's going to be a big ask. So where it once was, I believe it was like $11.5 million in one early iteration of the 22 budget. Now it's gone maybe into the sixes and sevens. It's still up in the air what that will be. It'll be over for 3 years. But the one thing that that group, that big group, the mega group, basically, said is that even though you're going to have an override and you can save a lot of jobs and also save the triple the top bond rating that Belmont has, it's still not going to do anything for the structural deficit that we have. So after 3 or 4 or 5 years, there's going to be another need for an override unless there can be some way of finding more revenue for the town, and that's pretty unlikely because there's just no land for us to build large commercial sites.
And we'll provide continuing information between now and the town election on what's going on with the override and that conversation.
That's right. By the end of the month, there should be there probably will be a information being sent over to from the warrant committee and the financial task force to the select board on what they believe their recommendations will be in terms of the amount of the override and how long that will be.
Thanks for bringing us up to date, Franklin. We've been speaking with Franklin Tucker, the editor and publisher of the Belmontonian, Belmont's online source for hyperlocal news. You've been watching News Now, the Belmont Journal's daily update on what's going on in the community of Belmont. Thanks for watching. I'm your host, Roger Colton. I'll talk with you again next time.